So earlier this week I recorded a video showing the math behind the interest rate hikes and why it could be another decade or two before we really do anything about inflation. And in the meantime, the dollar could lose up to 90% of its value over the next 10 or 20 years. Now, I noticed a similarity between the 1970s and today. In 1971, Richard Nixon said he was temporarily suspending the convertibility of the dollar into gold. And a lot of people bought that at the time, right? He was only going to suspend, he was going to freeze prices for 90 days and presumably suspend the convertibility of the dollar into gold for around the same time. And he actually tried different price levels for gold. He changed it from $35 an ounce to $38 and then I think $40, and none of those price levels worked. And so we never got around to going back to the gold standard. Now, last year, 2021, Jerome Powell said that we were in for some transitory inflation. And a lot of people bought it at the time, right? The idea of transitory has kind of evolved over the last year, though, right? It was going from, we're going to target 4% inflation, and then it was 6%, and then now it's, right now it's 8%. And the target has moved to, if we can get it close to 4%, we'll be happy about that, right? Very similar to what happened during the Nixon era, right? Now, in 1972, Nixon went on television during his election campaign. He said that the rate of increase of inflation is slowing down. So what does that mean? Basically, prices are still going up, right? We still had positive inflation. The rate of inflation, the rate of the increase in inflation was still positive, but it was going down, right? In other words, if you were charting prices, they were still, well, I guess they couldn't be exponential anymore, right? Because if they were exponential, then all of those increases would be positive, but it was at least a cubic function if you were plotting it on a chart, right? Think about y equals x to the third, right? Now this year, Jerome Powell was excited that he could potentially cut inflation by half. Now I gotta decipher what that means. If we drop inflation from 8% right now to 4%, first of all, I don't believe any of those numbers. I mean, we're probably going to drop it from 20% down to 10% if we're lucky, right? But what does that mean? That means prices are still going up. They're just going to go up at a slower rate, right? It doesn't mean that we're going to erase half of the price gains over the past year, right? That's what a lot of Americans seem to think for whatever reason, right? Now, 1972 was also the year we started having long lines at the gas stations. And right now, instead of that, we have a lot of people screaming that they want to continue working remotely, in large part because of the gas price increases, right? So you can think of all the screaming about wanting to work remotely as the electronic equivalent of long gas lines, right? All right, thought I would point out the similarities. It's been 50 years, right?